Hey, I'm Alex, and I'm recording something for President's Day, National History Champion. I have to name all the vice presidents. This is probably going to be hard. I'll try to do them in order. Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. No. Adams, Jefferson, Burr, Clinton, George Clinton, sorry for my arms, all that. I'll go to the modern vice presidents going backwards. Biden, Dick Cheney, Al Gore, Quayle, Bush, Mondale, Rockefeller, Ford, Agnew. This is fairly easy, actually. Well, the modern ones are. The 19th century, I don't know that much about the vice presidents, even though that's probably one of my most interesting parts of American history to me. This is my first video, by the way. Johnson. Filled in all three Johnsons. Richard Mentor Johnson, who was Martin Van Buren's vice president. Oh, Martin Van Buren was a vice president. So I'll add him in. Martin Van Buren was the first sitting vice president to become Martin Van Buren was the last vice president, sitting vice president to become president until George H.W. Bush, not counting the ones that became president upon the death or resignation of their predecessors, which is kind of interesting because you would expect the vice president to do better, but yeah. And also there were a whole bunch of them at first, but that's just probably because the parties didn't pick their own running mates yet. Nixon was before Johnson. I don't think Truman had a vice president. Oh, he did have one. He had one in the second election. Who was Truman's second vice president? I don't know. Well, Truman was vice president. Before him was John Nance Garner or Cactus Jack, and I believe Henry Wallace. Hoover's vice president was Charles Curtis, who was part Kansas American Indian. So I guess he was the first non-white president or vice president, partially, at least acknowledged, because they've had rumors about several presidents having black ancestry that, honestly, except for Obama, there's probably not true. 1925 through 1929. Oh, Coolidge was vice president because Harding died. I think Charles... Oh, darn, I have... Charles Dodds a vice president too? Oh. They're kind of easy to get mixed up because they're both named Charles and they are both right next to each other. Did that ever happen before? Hannibal Hamlin was, Abraham Lincoln's first vice president. Cannon's vice president was Breckinridge. Taylor's vice president was Fillmore, who took over after he died. There's Tyler. George Mifflin Dallas was Polk's vice president. I think Schuyler Colfax was Grant's vice president. Yeah. Chester Arthur, who succeeded Garfield. Theodore Roosevelt, who succeeded McKinley, was his vice president. There was a I think it was Charles Fairbanks was before. Oh, it was after. I think Fairbanks, Alaska was named after him. That would make sense, I think. I'll just guess the last name. Brown. Darn. Black. White. I think there's a Hendricks. Yeah. Probably wouldn't have made that name up. Not a Stebbins, that's... Jones? No. Trying to think. Oh. Albert Sherry was the vice president. Or Gary. Probably pronounced it Gary, even though it's called gerrymandering. Who was Adams' vice president? Henry Clay ever vice? No. Oh, Calhoun. Who actually Jackson kept him as vice president for a few years until they replaced him with Van Buren. The only president to keep their predecessor's vice president. Monroe's vice president. No. Sorry if I didn't speak up. This is my first try. I have Nixon as Eisenhower's vice president. I can't think of who Truman's vice president was, though. Is there an... Oh, is that one? Is Alvin Barkley? I'm surprised. That name sounds so old-fashioned. Is there Simmons? No. S. Can't quite think of it. Darn. Yeah. No Crawford. Can't think of who Taft's vice president was either. Well, vice president was barely an important office. Back then, even compared to what it is now, it wasn't very important. Oops. Guess this part of the video is ending, so I'll give up. Oh, Tompkins. What? They didn't spell Breckinridge right. Wilson, Wheeler, Morton, Stevenson, Hobart.